Part 1, The Genesis of Two Worlds. The Meeting of Species. In the vast expanse of the universe, where stars burn brightly and galaxies stretch endlessly, two civilizations stood on the brink of collapse. The Elysians, an advanced alien race known for their crystalline cities and telepathic abilities, faced annihilation from the relentless Void Marauders, a savage species that consumed entire planets. On the other side of the cosmos, humanity, struggling with its own wars and environmental crises, had no idea their fate would soon intertwine with the Elysians. Dr. Lyra Solon, the Elysian chief geneticist, stood in the heart of the celestial spire, her bioluminescent skin glowing faintly as she studied the holographic projections of human DNA. Her silver eyes reflected the intricate genetic patterns floating before her. "The humans," she murmured, her voice echoing in the sterile chamber. "Their adaptability is unparalleled. If we can merge their resilience with our energy manipulation, we might stand a chance against the Void Marauders." Commander Jackson Hale, a decorated human soldier, was chosen as the first candidate for this unprecedented experiment. Brought to the Elysian homeworld, he stood tall in the gleaming laboratory, his rugged features contrasting sharply with the ethereal beauty of the Elysians. "You want to create hybrid warriors?" he asked, his deep voice resonating with both curiosity and skepticism. Lyra's bioluminescent markings pulsed with excitement. "Not just warriors, Commander. A new species. One that can bridge the gap between our worlds and bring peace to the galaxy." The first connection. As the experiments began, Lyra and Jackson found themselves drawn to each other in ways neither could explain. The Elysians, who had long abandoned physical intimacy in favor of telepathic bonds, were fascinated by the raw emotion and passion that humans brought to their interactions. Jackson, in turn, was captivated by Lyra's grace and the way her bioluminescent patterns shifted with her emotions. During one of their sessions, Lyra placed her hand on Jackson's chest, feeling the steady rhythm of his heartbeat. "Your species," she whispered, her markings glowing softly, "has something we've lost. A connection that goes beyond the mind. A connection of the heart." Jackson smiled, his blue eyes meeting hers. "Maybe that's what we both need. Not just science, but something real. The birth of a new hope." As the days turned into weeks, the genetic fusion between human and Elysian DNA began to show promising results. The hybrid embryos displayed unprecedented levels of energy manipulation and physical resilience. But it wasn't just the science that was evolving. Lyra and Jackson's bond deepened with each passing moment. One night, as the twin moons of the Elysian homeworld cast their silvery light over the celestial spire, Lyra and Jackson shared a moment of intimacy that transcended their species' differences. Their connection sparked a surge of energy that illuminated the entire laboratory, a testament to the power of their union. The next morning, Lyra discovered that the hybrid embryos had accelerated their development, responding to the emotional resonance between their parents. "This changes everything," she said, her voice filled with awe. "The key to our survival isn't just in our genes. It's in our hearts." The Council's decision. The Elysian High Council, a group of ancient beings with glowing, translucent skin, convened to discuss the future of the hybrid program. Elder Vera, the Council's leader, addressed Lyra and Jackson. "Your experiments have shown remarkable potential," she said, her voice resonating with authority. "But we must proceed with caution. The Void Marauders grow stronger every day, and we cannot afford to fail." Jackson stepped forward, his presence commanding respect. "With all due respect, Elder Vera, we don't have time for caution. The hybrids are our best chance at survival. And if we can harness the power of our connection, we might just change the course of history." The Council deliberated, their bioluminescent patterns flickering with uncertainty. Finally, Elder Vera spoke. "We will proceed with the program. But know this, the fate of both our species rests in your hands." A new dawn. As Lyra and Jackson left the council chamber, they felt the weight of their responsibility. But they also felt something else: hope. The hybrids represented more than just a weapon against the Void Marauders. They were a symbol of unity, a bridge between two worlds that had once been so different. In the quiet of the celestial spire, Lyra rested her head on Jackson's shoulder, her bioluminescent patterns glowing softly. "We're creating something extraordinary," she whispered. "Not just for us, but for the entire galaxy." Jackson wrapped his arm around her, his touch warm and reassuring. "Together, we'll face whatever comes our way. And maybe, just maybe, we'll find a way to bring peace to the stars." Part 2, The Awakening of the Hybrids. The first hybrid. The laboratory was alive with activity as the first hybrid child, named Kale, was born. His bioluminescent skin shimmered with a spectrum of colors, and his eyes, a blend of human blue and Elysian silver, held a depth of intelligence that was beyond his years. Lyra cradled him in her arms, her heart swelling with a mixture of pride and awe. "He's perfect," she whispered, her markings glowing with maternal love. Jackson stood beside her, his hand resting on her shoulder. "He's more than perfect. He's the future." Kale's abilities began to manifest almost immediately. He could manipulate energy fields with a thought, creating intricate patterns of light that danced around the room. But it wasn't just his powers that amazed everyone, it was his ability to connect with both humans and Elysians on a deep, emotional level. The training begins. As Kale grew, so did his abilities. Lyra and Jackson worked tirelessly to train him, teaching him how to control his powers and use them for the greater good. But they also taught him about the importance of compassion and understanding, values that they believed would be crucial in the battles to come. One day, during a training session, Kale created a massive energy shield that protected the entire laboratory from a simulated attack. Lyra watched in amazement as her son's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with intensity. "He's stronger than we ever imagined," she said, her voice filled with pride. Jackson nodded, his eyes never leaving Kale. "And he's just the beginning." The Void Marauders strike. The peace was shattered when the Void Marauders launched a surprise attack on the Elysian homeworld. Their massive warships descended from the sky, their dark, jagged forms blotting out the stars. The Elysians fought valiantly, but they were no match for the Marauders' relentless onslaught. In the midst of the chaos, Kale stepped forward, his small frame glowing with an otherworldly light. He raised his hands, and a massive energy wave erupted from his body, destroying several Marauder ships in an instant. The Elysians and humans watched in awe as Kale single-handedly turned the tide of the battle. But even as they celebrated their victory, they knew that the war was far from over. A new alliance. The battle against the Void Marauders brought humans and Elysians closer than ever before. Together, they began to build a new fleet of ships, powered by hybrid technology and manned by soldiers from both species. Lyra and Jackson worked side by side, their bond stronger than ever. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew that they had the power to change the galaxy, not through force, but through unity. The future of the hybrids. As Kale grew older, he became a symbol of hope for both humans and Elysians. His abilities continued to evolve, and he began to teach others how to harness their own powers. In the quiet moments, Lyra and Jackson would watch their son, marveling at the incredible being they had created. "He's more than we ever dreamed," Lyra said, her voice filled with love. Jackson nodded, his eyes shining with pride. "And he's just the beginning. Together, we'll create a future where both our species can thrive." Part 3, The Rise of the Hybrid Army. The expansion of the program. With Kale's success, the hybrid program expanded rapidly. More human Elysian pairs were recruited, and soon, a new generation of hybrids was born. Each child displayed unique abilities, from telekinesis to energy manipulation, and they quickly became the galaxy's most powerful warriors. Lyra and Jackson took on the role of mentors, guiding the new hybrids and teaching them the values of compassion and unity. They knew that the hybrids were more than just soldiers, they were the future of both species. The battle for the Outer Rim. The Void Marauders, desperate to crush the growing threat, launched a massive attack on the Outer Rim colonies. The hybrid army, led by Kale, fought bravely, their combined powers creating a force that the Marauders could not withstand. In the heat of battle, Kale's abilities reached new heights. He created a massive energy shield that protected the colonies from the Marauders' attacks, and then unleashed a devastating wave of energy that destroyed their fleet. The victory was a turning point in the war, and the hybrids became legends throughout the galaxy. The Council's recognition. The Elysian High Council, once skeptical of the hybrid program, now recognized its importance. Elder Vera addressed Lyra and Jackson, her bioluminescent patterns glowing with pride. "You have given us hope," she said. "And for that, we are eternally grateful." Jackson stepped forward, his voice filled with determination. "This is just the beginning. Together, we'll create a future where both our species can thrive." The legacy of the hybrids. As the war against the Void Marauders continued, the hybrids became a symbol of unity and hope. Their abilities, combined with their compassion and understanding, made them the galaxy's greatest defenders. Lyra and Jackson watched as their children grew into powerful warriors, their hearts filled with pride. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew that they had the power to change the galaxy, not through force, but through unity. A new era. In the quiet moments, Lyra and Jackson would reflect on their journey. They had started as strangers from different worlds, brought together by a shared goal. But through their love and determination, they had created something extraordinary, a new species that would shape the future of the galaxy. As they looked to the stars, they knew that their legacy would live on, not just in their children, but in the hearts of all those who believed in the power of unity. Part 4, The Final Stand. The Void Marauders' Last Gambit. The Void Marauders, desperate to crush the hybrid threat, launched a final, massive assault on the Elysian homeworld. Their fleet, larger and more powerful than ever before, descended upon the planet, their dark ships blotting out the stars. The hybrid army, led by Kale, prepared for the battle of their lives. They knew that this would be their final stand, a battle that would determine the fate of the galaxy. The battle for the Celestial Spire. The battle raged across the planet, but the fiercest fighting took place at the Celestial Spire. The Marauders, knowing that the Spire was the heart of the Elysian civilization, focused their attacks on the towering structure. Kale and the hybrids fought valiantly, their combined powers creating a force that the Marauders could not withstand. But even as they destroyed ship after ship, the Marauders kept coming, their numbers seemingly endless. The sacrifice. As the battle reached its climax, Kale made a decision that would change the course of the war. He knew that the only way to defeat the Marauders was to unleash the full extent of his powers, a move that would cost him his life. With a final, determined look at his parents, Kale raised his hands and unleashed a massive wave of energy that engulfed the Marauder fleet. The explosion was so powerful that it could be seen from across the galaxy. When the dust settled, the Marauders were gone. But so was Kale. The aftermath. The galaxy mourned the loss of Kale, but they also celebrated his sacrifice. The Void Marauders were defeated, and the hybrids had proven themselves to be the galaxy's greatest defenders. Lyra and Jackson, though heartbroken, knew that their son's legacy would live on. They continued to guide the hybrids, teaching them the values of compassion and unity that Kale had embodied. A new beginning. With the war over, the galaxy entered a new era of peace and prosperity. The hybrids, now revered as heroes, worked to rebuild the worlds that had been destroyed by the Marauders. Lyra and Jackson, their bond stronger than ever, watched as their children grew into powerful leaders. They knew that the road ahead would be difficult, but they also knew that they had the power to change the galaxy, not through force, but through unity. As they looked to the stars, they knew that their legacy would live on, not just in their children, but in the hearts of all those who believed in the power of unity.